Hello, this is Andrew, and this is another demo video. I'm a bit late. I'm around 19 minutes late. This is supposed to be a weekly update video where I'm supposed to post every Sunday, but it's currently 12:20 a.m., but, they say better late than never, right? But since last week, I've implemented, several different, changes and updates to Slayer Knight version 2. Made a bunch of bug fixes. I mean, it's kind of hard to notice, right? But there was a few bugs related to movement. For instance, if you're dashing up an incline, the game would think that at the end of your dash, you're hitting the ground. So now, I mean, it obviously works, but before you would dash off a ledge, and then when your dash finishes, your character would quote unquote hit the ground as if there was like a ledge right beneath their feet in midair. But that's fixed. There were several other issues that were resolved, but unfortunately I don't really remember all the issues from the top of my head. Yeah, I'm just talking from my head, and just like the other demo videos, there will be no cuts for this video since I just like recording and posting. Um, so yeah, okay, so as you can see, there's now a parallax background which wasn't there before. So, I have an entire system put in place, which makes it easy to just, put in more layers and then have like a moving background if I so choose. Um, so this is something that I did have in the first version of the game, but I much preferred how I did it this time around. It's so much easier to get new, excuse me, so much easier to get new, different layered effects in the background. Unfortunately, there were some complications when it came to implementing the browser version of this game. As it turns out, for whatever reason, there's no support for non-powers of two for the what's it called, the profile that I'm using, the graphics profile, which is Reach. And unfortunately, the other graphic profiles aren't an option because they're not supported. So I think I should have a video at least posted on my Twitter where I'm actually playing the browser version. The only reason why I'm not playing the browser version now is because the quality of the recording is just not great at all. Um, so I'm going to stick to the desktop version of the game whenever I'm doing this dev videos. I'll need to figure out a better solution for recording from the browser because the quality's not there. Um, and if I use the what's it called, the Windows recorder, it actually has decent quality when recording from the browser, but there's no sound, so that's kind of unfortunate. So in addition to the Parallax system, I do have gamepad support, which obviously you can't see. I can actually plug in right now. Oh, never mind, I don't have a spare USB. But yeah, you'll have to trust me on this, but there is gamepad support, and at least, you know, at least for the few minutes that I've been playing around with it, yeah, seems to work pretty well. That wasn't too hard to integrate. Unfortunately, for the browser version of the game, the framework that I'm using doesn't support gamepad at all, so that's kind of unfortunate. But it is what it is. You'll have to download the game if you want to use a Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller. And then there's now coins here, so I decided to implement the collectible system. Collectibles just refers to any object the knight can actually pick up and potentially use in the future. And every collectible is going to have this floating, like, glowing effect on them. And when you get them, they'll disappear the same way. But more importantly, the knight will be able to use those collectibles in some fashion. Part of the reason why I decided to, implement the collectible system so soon is because I'm trying to get all the movement stuff done, and a huge part of the movement is picking up, different collectibles that actually enhance the player's movement. Not really enhance, but I have what I call a recharge system, where, certain conditions you can perform certain conditions like picking up a collectible, or waiting a certain period of time, or even jumping off the wall. And what happens is you get a reset on one or more of your movement abilities. Like if you touch the wall, you can jump again, which is actually implemented using that reset system. And of course, if you touch the wall, if you jump off the wall, I meant, then you can do a dash immediately after. So I can waste my dash, jump, and then use my dash right after, without having to wait for the cooldown. So I want to figure all that stuff out first, and then just you know basically I want to make sure the movement feels as good as possible, including using all the movement abilities too that comes from the you know picking up the appropriate collectible items. So that will be talked about in more detail in a future video. Um, and besides that, I think the only other thing is that there's now more graphics. Which before everything was just the black squares. So any amount of graphics you see now, this is just purely for testing purposes. I just wanted to see how things would look given the new approach to level design that I'm trying out. But I think that covers it. I'm probably forgetting something, but if I did, I'll make sure to make a note and then bring it up during the next video. I guess one thing I should mention that I'm trying to push myself so that by the end of the month I have a more, I guess, well-made quote-unquote demo that's only demonstrating the movement and all the the systems that's kind of related to the movement, right? So a lot of it's going to be just platforming, and I'm trying to make it presentable enough that way when I take this demo, I attend a game dev meetup, so I'll have people there that should be able to give me some solid advice. I want to make sure it's as clean and fluid as possible before I move on to the next step, which is going to be obviously the combat. So far I only have attacking, and then I have like one enemy right now, and I don't even have I don't have half the number of mechanics that I need to get the combat system fully up and usable. But first things first, movement's first, and then then I'm gonna focus on the fighting stuff. But I think that covers it. And thanks for those who took the time to watch this dev video, and adios.